All right, boys, welcome back to the Play On podcast. This is Jesse and Jerry. This is episode 60. A lot of great things. Seasons are coming to an end. But we do have one European final. Not sure why it's on Wednesday. Uh, but yeah, it's a conference. It's what is it? Europa League final.
Y-
Man U versus Tottenham. 16th versus what? It's 15th in the league, 17th.
I can't say that. Uh how do I say this? It's bad versus bad. There we go.
It's to determine who had the worst season. Because if I'm the Premier League, I'm just embarrassed that these two teams are somehow competing for a European final.
Yeah, it's 16 versus 17. Literally the two above relegation zone.
And to even make it to this parts of the final, I don't know how they did it, you know? I don't
It's
know.
it's it's
Like,
it's so bad because they're so bad, but they're just proving that money can buy you like a championship. Because their budget and like their squad valuation is so much higher than like the rest of the teams competing in the Europa League that it shouldn't be fair, but also it's not like they have good teams. It's like they somehow lucked to the final.
yeah. But yeah, we're gonna go deep, well, not so much deep analysis. But yeah, there's a lot of on the line for this game. Not Poach, oh my God. And just playing his for his job because he also made that huge statement at the beginning of the season.
His second season comes with the title, and this is the only title he could win.
And then Man U, they're kind of just trying to salvage, and I think they qualify for what Champions League if they win this.
Yeah, both teams qualify. If you win the Europa League, you automatically qualify for Champions League next year. And since both teams have no chance of making to any type of Europe with the table position they're in, they need this, especially with the financial boost it comes with.
For sure. Who would you like to see? And first of all, who do you got winning the final?
Mine is going with bias because I want Spurs to win, just so I could make fun of Arsenal fans for it because that would be what like the fourth biggest London team because they haven't won any European championship.
Hmm. And it'll be interesting because if I wouldn't say all London clubs, but that would make it three London clubs that would win a trophy this season. What was it? Crystal
Crystal
Palace.
Palace.
Chelsea has a chance to win it, and the other London club, which is Tottenham, they have a chance to win the title.
Yeah.
What other London team is there? Is West Ham a London team?
West Ham is a London team. Fulham is another London team. And then I think that's it in the top, like in the Premier League.
Hmm.
The rest are there's like a couple other ones, but they're in like championship and below.
But yeah, supposedly golden generation of Arsenal. Just this is our daily trash on Arsenal segment. But yeah, supposedly golden generation and Tottenham might win a title. But yeah, it's exciting. I'm with you. I want Tottenham to win just because we have been advocating for Ange this whole time. We'll see how it goes because I think Madison and who was it, Solanke or Johnson are in question for the final.
Uh, I know who was it? Solanke was in Madison, but I remember seeing Kulusevski had knee surgery, so he's also, I believe, out.
Hmm.
And Bergvall is also out.
But it's going to be a tough match. Man U they've been getting some results to the end of the season. Granted, they're in the final, but they've been getting more luck in European success. Beating Lyon, one of the favorites to win the tournament. And yeah, Harry Maguire playing as a winger. But honestly, I am not gassed for this final because the last time we had a all English European final, it was the worst Champions League final of all time. Liverpool versus
Yeah,
Tottenham.
yeah, that one was awful. I remember wishing I didn't watch it and waste my time. And I feel like this one will be similar because I feel like neither teams can be proactive and go for like anything risky because they don't want to ruin their season right off the bat. I think they're gonna want to, play it safe and hope the other team makes a mistake.
Mhm.
So I think it's probably can be like a snooze fest until like the 90th minute where someone gets like a lucky goal.
Yeah, because Manu already plays like that in general. They do love to sit back and just go on a counter attack with either Garnacho or one of the wing backs. That's why I'm excited for Ange to see how he's gonna like fight for this title because again, this is his chance. He plays very attractive football. He goes all out attack. He might concede a couple of goals to be honest. So hopefully this is not one of those boring finals. The one I think Man U's part of the team that can make it boring by sitting back. But I know Angie's probably gonna try to go all out. And on top of that, this could probably I don't know. We'll see if this season, if this trophy or even final can try to lift up Heung-min Son because he's probably had the worst season in like a good while.
Well, this season he's been riddled with injuries, so he's always been in and out of the team, and even now he's coming into the final off of an injury because he hasn't played consistently like since April. And but I think now this is probably going to be a big test for him because what's the three biggest like creative forces on that team being out, like Kulusevski, Madison, Bergvall, they were all carrying like the creative burden throughout the season, and all three of those players could potentially be out. The only question mark being Madison. Maybe he like rushes back and forces his way to play,
Mhm.
but I feel like it's 80% more likely that he doesn't play. I feel like a lot of the creativity forces can be relied upon him to, do something with the ball.
Yeah. And then as far as if your Man U say you do lose the title, what happens to that team? What if you are management, what are the steps you are taking? Are you gonna fire the manager first and foremost? First most? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think that's the question that everyone's wondering because they got the coach that was linked to well was one of the hottest coaching prospects in the market because he was at a certain point linked to being the replacement for Man City for Pep if he in case he went. A bunch of other clubs were looking at him and then they got him early and it's been he hasn't shown like great results,
Hmm.
but also considering the situation he went into, like we've been saying like it's a bad Man City squad or Man U squad that the players aren't up to the level. But I don't know how much investment he can do or is gonna get this summer if they do keep him because they have been spending ridiculous amount of money for players that are have not lived up to it.
Yeah. And granted, they're probably going to spend more money no matter win or loss. I think they're just gonna, again, if they fire Amorim, it's another huge mistake for Manchester United because clearly, if you're a top coaching prospect, you're not going to want to go there because they're not giving you any time to develop a team, put your stamp, and put a certain style to the football team and how they play. No one wants that because this would be like what this Ten Hag got given a long time to be honest.
Yeah,
But
Ten Hag got like th 2.5 years.
but yeah, even Amorim just coming mid-season, it was a huge risk for him and his image in case we kind of figured how it was gonna go and play out, which was this. But did we expect them to be pretty much almost in the relegation zone? No. So it's a test. I think they're just gonna stick it out, hopefully, and try to just give him his market. But even then, what kind of players are gonna attract? Because right now they're currently linked with Mateus Cunha. Again, not the best, or even I don't think he's gonna solve any problems.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one because Manu they've gotten a new owner. They're also saying that they're gonna build a new stadium, which is that's a lot of money, like billions of dollars.
Hmm.
They still need a new what was it, training facility, so that's also more money. And yet they still need a whole new squad. So like it can be an expensive road for Man U. The problem with Man U is that they've been investing in the wrong areas for a while now. For the past two summer, they've signed strikers that don't score goals.
Mm-mm.
Rasmus Højlund, Xerxes, they both don't put up the numbers necessary at a top level club.
And that's what's my issue with Cunha, dude. Like he's not producing goals.
Yeah, and that's the exact same thing with like the profile that Cunha is. Like maybe he could drop in midfield and give some energy there, but that still doesn't solve their goal scoring problem
Mm-mm.
or their defensive issues because they have players there that don't aren't up to the level. Besides maybe Lenny Yoro when he was like playing, but he's shown that he has some injury problems because this is the second injury he's picked up. They have Harry Maguire there who is aging. They have Lindelof who really shouldn't be there. They have players that can't play there.
Yeah, so they have a lot of work with the squad, especially with Casemiro. It looks like I think if they win the Europa League final, he gets a bonus and an automatic contract extension. So, uh, I know Man U wants to win a title, but does ownership really want to give Casemiro another extension to that contract? Probably not.
Well,
Um,
he's already making 20 million a year, so it's
eh,
crazy.
yeah, they're just in a weird situation. So we'll see how it goes. I think Man U is probably the favorite, granted the injuries to Tottenham's attack. Um, but yeah, I really hope Tottenham wins.
Yeah, same. Mostly to rub it in Arsenal fans' faces.
Yeah, it'll top off everything. Harry Kane wins a trophy, and now Tottenham's gonna win a trophy.
Yep,
Investment paid off. But yeah, enough of that. We're going to talk about one league that's still kind of open. Well, it is open between two teams, Inter and Napoli.
Napoli.
Go ahead.
Yeah, both teams. There's only one game left. There's only a 1 point difference, but both teams failed to make a to get ahead this weekend. They both drew, and that's something they can't do at this stage.
Yeah, it is crazy too because I was tracking the game. I was at a market with my fiance, and I was tracking the game. And last time I checked, it was like the 82nd minute. Inter was up 2-1, and Napoli
Hmm.
was tied 0-0. And I just left it as is. I'm like, well, there's no way Inter concedes another goal. I get home, it's like 6 p.m. and it turns out Pedro scored a double and tied the game up for Inter. So what it was gonna be an Inter advantage, now it's going to be a Napoli advantage because both of the teams tied and nothing changed.
Yeah, and now it's come down to the last game of the season where Inter has to hope for a result for against Napoli because even if they win, they're still 1 point behind.
Yeah, and the crazy scenario between all that is again we were talking about this playoff thing happening I think 2 episodes ago or even last episode. Um, if Napoli loses and Inter ties next game because they're facing Como away, Inter is facing
Hmm.
Como away. They're playing that playoff, and I'm thinking, when is that playoff going to be played? Uh,
I think
It, it's more than
it'll
likely
be
going to be midweek.
midweek
Yeah, and that's not
against and
beneficial
that,
for Inter.
yeah, that's not beneficial because it'll be I think the week of the Champions League final.
Hmm.
So if they do that, it's gonna be rough for Inter.
So Inter either has to just go all out, just win. That's all they have to do. If they tie, and yeah, just it's a bad scenario. If you're Inter, you have to get that win, no matter what.
Yeah. It's but I think the biggest problem showing is that as we said before, Inter was known to be a rock at the back, but they've been conceding a lot, like 2 goals again in another match.
At home.
Yeah, that's not usual for them. So there's a lot of defensive vulnerability from them recently.
Yeah, definitely. And again, if you go into a final against Napoli, you know you're going to concede. And same thing, you have to worry about the PSG Champions League match because you're conceding so much. One of the best offenses in Europe, and you're going to come against them and concede a lot of goals. It's not a
It's
doesn't
not a
bring you
recipe.
confidence.
No, it's not because at that you're just playing from behind constantly, and you never want your players to feel like that, especially after a long, grueling season that they have currently going for them.
Hmm.
And especially with their 8 older players,
Yeah,
it's
tired
not
legs.
gonna, yeah, it's not gonna look good.
Yeah, and again, it I think I touched upon it. Like playing at Parma away, I didn't think it was gonna be an easy match for Napoli at all. Just playing away from home, it's not the best.
Hmm.
Who are they facing next week? I think they're facing
Cagliari,
at
Cagliari.
home, right?
I don't
Yes,
know. They
yes.
are.
Sunday, May 25th, 8 a.m. Napoli versus Cagliari. Last game of the season. Yeah, it's beneficial for them. They have the home field advantage. Cagliari, maybe they want to
They're not
play
really playing for
spoils.
anything.
Yeah, maybe they want to play
I,
spoils. But even then, like once you can see the first goal, you're kind of in the mindset like, well, do I really want to go all out and try to
yeah,
make
there's
this in a match?
yeah, yeah, because they don't really have anything to play for except for maybe spoiling the mood. But if I'm a player after going through a season, I'm not going to go out there and risk potential injury for someone else's sake.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if you can see the goal, like your motives aren't really there because again, you're not playing for anything. And as what as far as for Inter and Como, it's a different situation. Because I think if it was playing, they were playing Cagliari instead of Napoli, it would have been different. You would have tried to like go all out and show your fans like this is you're just making a stand, right? But
Hmm.
and that's what pretty much Como was gonna do against Inter. You're trying to take down this giant that's been winning the Serie A and is in a Champions League final. You're gonna put out a show and try to compete with them.
Yeah, I think what Cesc Fabregas is going to tell the team, use this mom use this game to provide momentum for next season, to build upon it and show that, oh, next year Como's going to be even more dangerous and could potentially be competing for those upper spots in the Europe. Because if we remember, Como had a bad start to the year. They didn't start off really well, and then they picked up the signings of Nico Paz and then I believe Diao from Betis, and also another the Argentinian kid I think from Man City. So th they're all building for next year where I think they might explode because it's just another year of more for the players where they develop even more.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Como hasn't lost in the 8 matches.
Yeah,
So they have a great run of form. Like their past 5 matches, they tied this one, but after that, the four before that, they've won all four. And even at home, they beat Cagliari 3-1 at home. They beat Genoa 1-0 at home. And where's Genoa in the table?
I
They're
think
like
they're
13th.
mid-table.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
mid-table, so they could compete. It's not an easy match for Inter. And again, that just motivation of potentially being a Champions League finalist or even a Champions League potential winner in the future. It just instills so much confidence in you.
yeah. It's it's a bad recipe for Inter right now because it
Mhm.
feels like everything's against them.
Yeah. And again, if we get that dream scenario of the final of the Serie A final of like just Napoli losing, Inter tying, going to a playoff, that'll be awesome.
Where will the venue be? Who would be, or will be like a neutral stadium, or is one will be at home and the other away?
I'm not sure. I am not sure about
Because
that.
that would be interesting. Because if it's at a neutral stadium, I think that would be even more exciting.
Hmm. So we just gotta see how everything plays out. We just gotta get through next week and see what happens.
Yep. And then on the other news, we had another uh champion being crowned in another tournament.
Yes, and the FA Cup final, Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. Did you watch the game?
I watched moments of it. It was kind of early, you know.
Yeah, over here, Mr. Night Owl. But yeah, I watched the game. Um, Man City had control of a lot of the possession, like normally they do. But there were just no dangerous chances at all, or clear-cut chances. The most dangerous chance they did get, in my opinion, was the penalty. And even
Hmm.
then, Marmoush didn't take advantage of it, which is very, very interesting to me that Marmoush took the penalty and not Haaland.
Yeah, same.
I want to know what happened, why they're letting Marmoush take it, if Haaland's been your main penalty taker for the past 2 years since he's got there.
Yeah, I feel like it's just there's so much discord or like different energy that we've been getting from Man City this year that we've seen from previous past. I know you've mentioned that, Pep isn't the same this year and then might be seeping into the locker room, but I also feel like the players are, I don't know, maybe they're just like they don't have the hunger anymore that we've seen from previous Man City teams.
Hmm.
Maybe they've gotten filled with like the trouble they've got like a couple years ago, but it hasn't seemed the same Man City team we've seen.
Yeah, like there's like no confidence. I don't know if it's confidence or just energy at all, but this team looks deflated, to be honest. It's It's weird. I don't know if they're just getting tired of the low block or if it's Pep's system that's just getting old, but they clearly have players that have talent. But again, it doesn't help that Phil Foden, Mr. PFA Player of the Year last year, is having the worst and the worst fall of all time. From being the best player in the season to the worst player in the season.
And also, it also doesn't help that the we didn't claim this, but they've been claiming John Stones, who like was they were saying like was one of the best center backs in the world, if not the best center back in the world. He's also fallen off a cliff. We never rated him that highly, but he's also become like a liability in that back line
Hmm.
that they're even considering selling him this summer and looking for a replacement.
Yeah, and I want to apologize to Harry Maguire. As much flack as we give him, at least he's available and not injured.
Yeah.
So, granted, people are saying like, "Oh, it's just it's an unfortunate situation, unlucky that he's getting injured. It's not his fault." Well, there we live in modern medicine, and there's players out there like Dembele, Grant, for example. He used to get injured all the time at Barcelona. Goes to PSG, or I think Xavi came to Barcelona as well, and he stopped getting injured. It's clearly on the player too, like their diet, the things they do after football that takes a lot of toll and can give you injuries that
I
they
mean,
don't take serious.
yeah, it's shown with like specific players like Cristiano Ronaldo, like Iniesta, and like all these other like top players that were be able to play at the top level for a long time, that if you take care of your body and not do like extracurricular stuffs like going, out or like not taking like not eating the right food and other activities that aren't beneficial for your body, you will suffer a lot of injuries and things like that. Like if you take care of it, you will minimize the injuries that you can get because sometimes injuries are unavoidable. Sometimes you get an unlucky situation and things happen. But if you're not helping yourself if you're not using the current modern medicine that there is, because like before an ACL injury was like your career was done. Now you can recover and be able to come back and play almost the same, if not sometimes the same. But it all depends on the player as well, because sometimes a lot of fans have jumped onto the like bandwagon of like blaming the club of like the physical trainers and saying that they're not helping the players. Sometimes if the players don't accept the help, there's nothing that a club can do.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to know what Haaland's currently thinking or how he's feeling. He must be frustrated because last year no one could stop him. Or like the first season he came in, no one could stop him. Now it's like no one's feeding him balls, and no one's giving him a chance to score because I don't know. Like we said, it was De Bruyne. De Bruyne's back. He had a good match, but yeah, clearly you can see there's he lost a step,
Yeah.
but he had a good match. But in general, like he's the only one feeding him anything.
Yeah, and I think he's also made a big decision coming to Man City because at Dortmund he was known for his lightning quick counterattacks because the man he is like a big pacey forward that would just sometimes outrun defenders and to get those goals, and that's what he was kind of known for at Dortmund. But when he came to Man City, he had to change his game and like learn to adapt. But now that he's like playing this style, he's like looking around and there's no one there with him.
And you can see his desperation too. Like you said, he could if he sees space, he's taking it. But at Man City, he sees the space. He's gonna make the run. He makes it. He doesn't get to fed the ball because they want to pause and like reset the ball. And he gets visibly frustrated on the field and asking for it. So it's very interesting that he extended that contract with Man City because clearly it's not the best fit for you.
Yeah, and especially considering now that that squad needs a major turnover, because a lot of the players have shown that they're not up to par where the level's at, and a lot of them are like failed investments. Like Jack Grealish had like that one good year, and everything else has been awful. So I think they're already thinking of moving on. Doku hasn't hit the heights that was expected of him, but
Hmm.
I think that's also a play style that doesn't allow him to hit that level. Foden is just an enigma because last year they're crowning him PFA Player of the Year, and this year he shouldn't even be on the bench.
And then on top of that, like I don't understand Pep's reasoning. He's already looking for a new center back, and the center back is gonna be they're looking into is Ruben Silva
Hmm.
from Benfica. Granted, he's fantastic, but you just signed Kuzanov, and now he's pretty much axed from the squad.
Yeah, Kuzunov and also the Brazilian center back who didn't get much time where they could if they weren't going to use him, might as well just loan him out to another club and let him gain experience
Hmm.
instead of just riding the bench.
So it's interesting. But yeah, we're talking so much about Man City, but as far as Crystal Palace, such a successful season for them. They won their first trophy in their Premier League lifetime, I
I
think.
I think so, yeah, because I think this was the third final they've made and the first one they won.
So it's huge, and of course it's Esse that has to score that goal. A great cross from Munoz, which extended, and I think I was telling you yesterday about it. He gives me a lot of his profile is similar to Dumfries. He's very physical and goes forward on attack a lot. So
Yeah, I think I think it's expected for him to go for a big move because I think that Crystal Palace squad is going to get raided this summer. I know a lot of their players are linked away with moves away for like big money moves, and I
Esse
wouldn't be
was supposed to
surprised.
leave last season, and now he stayed and paid off, and now he can move again.
Yeah, I just don't see those players staying for another season at Crystal Palace. Granted, Glass now is showing to be like shi signs of a really good coach and potentially deserving of a bigger move,
Hmm.
but I just don't see how Crystal Palace can keep him. Oh, Crystal Palace is another London club.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
mentioned it. Yeah, I was
No,
like,
I think we did mention him. I said
yeah, I
Crystal
think
Palace
so.
won the trophy.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's insane. And part of me, I think I mentioned I did want Crystal Palace to win last podcast. Or if anything, I am happy that they won it because I told you that those fans would cherish it more than Man City fans
yeah.
because yeah, Man City fans are kind of plastic fans to be honest. Not to say they plastic fans, but like they would Crystal Palace fans will value this more, and they'll be ingrained in their memory forever. That this is the first trophy that they ever won.
Yeah, to uh Crystal Palace fans, this is like an amazing season, maybe like one of the best in their history.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, Man City fans, this was just a consolation prize for like a shitty season,
Hmm.
and they probably would have just looked at it like, well, we need this just to make sure it's not a completely awful season, and they
Yeah.
would just look at it just like that, like, oh, well, at least we got an FA Cup to just like maintain like our reputation, and that's
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, that's it. They were just trying to save faces, whereas Crystal Palace fans, they really wanted it. And it was awesome to see, especially the fans. Even when it was getting close to the final whistle, a lot of them were crying on the stands. And I think there was an interview with this older gentleman from England, Crystal Palace fan, and he was saying that he was waiting for 70 years. He didn't think in his lifetime he would ever see Crystal Palace win a FA Cup or even a trophy. And it's cool to see. Again, it's ingrained forever for them.
Yeah, like that's the best moments of football when the David versus Goliath where David wins.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, like it might not be appreciated by like the neutral fans or normal fans who like don't recognize these clubs because they're not like, spending ridiculous amount of money to where like the big stars are at.
Yeah.
But like this like is what people live for.
Yes, yes. And when is the DFB final? Is that this week? Because that's also a crazy story in itself. Yeah, this is a transition to the next one. Saturday, May 24th, it's Armenia B Field, and they play in the third division of Bundesliga.
Yeah.
And they're in the final facing Stuttgart.
Yeah. Massive underdogs.
Armenia has been in three not Premier League, Bundesliga teams to get to this final, and they had to face one more Bundesliga team to potentially even win it. So these are one of those stories like the Crystal Palace one, even bigger than the Crystal Palace one, just
Hmm.
because of the situation. And it's in 6 days. Keep keep watching that because it's another Cinderella story.
Yeah, and honestly, just I don't want to like say for Stuttgart fans like oh to go against them, but like this is like the stories that people live for. Like this is the ones that we see on movies all the time. Like we're watching it in real time
Hmm.
if it can happen.
So yeah, that just reminded me of that. But yeah, as far as Bundesliga, Dortmund somehow qualified for Champions League because Freiburg choked their match against Frankfurt.
Yeah, they and also because Leipzig hit like the worst run of the season because they were at one point like second or third, competing in the top of the Bundesliga, and they've fallen off to completely not qualify for any European football next year.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. But yeah, Dortmund somehow make it out. And this is the final table for the top six for European positions. It's Bayern Munich first, Leverkusen, Frankfurt, Dortmund. Freiburg is going to Europa League, and Mainz is going to Conference Leagues. Um, yeah, and it's the first time, like you mentioned, Leipzig didn't qualify for any European competition since 2016. So and now on top of that, they're losing their star players with Xavi Simons leaving, and same thing with Benjamin Šeško. It's we'll see where they go. I think both of those have interest from European clubs. So,
Yeah, I
well,
think
obviously.
it's gonna be tough for them. I think recruitment's gonna be a big thing, but then again, they're part of the Red Bull pyramid, so they might just, get some more from Salzburg or like other Red Bull teams that are known to like just develop talents for the top teams.
Mhm. Where do you think Xavi Simons goes? Because both of them are linked to Premier League clubs.
I think it's tough
And what's the best fit?
for him. I don't really know because for Premier League, I I wouldn't say I know he's linked to Liverpool, but that right side's occupied by Salah. He could play left, but I don't feel like that's the most effective spot for him. Same thing with Arsenal. Saka's there, and they're not going to remove their golden boy for him.
Hmm.
Eh, I feel like he should just stay another year really and wait for next year where there's potential for more open spots. But if he really wants to force a move now, because I know he's mentioned previously that he wants to play for Barca again, but I just don't see that happening.
No, yeah, the Barca stuff is pretty tough. Because yeah, in the cam position, the attacking midfield position, it's very compact. Same thing with the right wing position.
Mhm.
Again, and he's just not as effective on the left side. For me, I think possibly Man City is probably the best situation for him. Because yeah, Phil Foden is not it right now.
Yeah, the only reason I don't say Man City is because I know they're also linked to Florian Wirtz,
Hmm.
and I feel like if he depending on if they both go, I think Florian Wirtz will take over the main creative role, and
Hmm.
then that right wing, there's still Sabinho to compete with,
Yeah.
so
Hmm. Yeah.
it's tough.
I was thinking more of a playing him as a attacking midfielder. Like he could
Mm,
take over for the De Bruyne.
maybe.
But as far as Chesko, I think any Arsenal would use him, would more than likely need him. He's not a defensive midfielder, so I don't know if they'll get him.
Yeah,
Uh
I feel like strikers are the most thing needed by clubs now.
yeah. Liverpool needs a striker and he'll fit. So
Yeah,
we'll see where he goes. Very interesting. But yeah, that's as far as Bundesliga. As far as La Liga, nothing really changed. Barca became champions midweek, which is fantastic news.
yeah, officially won. Yeah, everything else like people were basically going through the motions.
Mhm. And you had news as far as Ajax. What happened with that?
Oh yeah, the Eredivisie. So basically, Ajax was in the lead, and they needed to get. Let me double check the number. They just needed to get 6 points from their final five matches to
Hmm.
win the title at the Eredivisie, and they failed to do that, allowing PSV to come in and snoop the title away from them.
Oh man. Ajax, Ajax, Ajax.
Like
That's a
that's a
fireable offense. Let's be honest.
yeah, because especially from Ajax, who like they're expected to dominate their. It's how can you not get 5 points or was it 6 points in your last five games?
So they were up by so many points and they just kept losing and losing. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
See, team form. So they won today. They tied last week. They lost last week. They tied. They lost. Oh my God.
yeah, they just choked it. They literally went on a horrible form and couldn't do it.
Sad. But that's how it is. But the top two teams do go to the Champions League. Champions League directly to the Champions League. Third place goes to Champions League qualifications. So again, you don't win that, but at least you don't leave Champions League. But still, I think you would want to win the title. That's just
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, major questions that can be asked from that manager.
Yeah, you gotta. I'm telling you, that's a fireable offense. That's inexcusable to even not win any of those matches. Oh my God. And it comes at a worst part because yeah, like it's hard to go unbeaten in a season. You're gonna have like really bad runs of form out of nowhere. Like Barcelona's was November. They didn't get a
Mhm.
single win. They got losses and ties. That's it. And that was our worst form of the league. Same thing with Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid was
October, the month before.
the October and they had two of them because it was October and this month, I think you would say. Because they lost against
Uh,
Barca. No, I think that's the only loss they had, right? And well,
yeah.
I guess the Champions League, but even then, like it you come across it all the time, and it just sucks for AX to be at that crucial part of the season.
Yeah, especially for the fans, because you just know you're like, we just need literally 6 points. Just
Hmm.
get us those points, and yet not to be able to get it when the like title's literally right in front. Like you have one hand on it, and you just let it go.
Telling you, it's a fireable offense. You, as fans, you know there's uproar, and you probably don't want that coach in there anymore.
Yeah,
As
that's
far as, oh yeah, my bad.
no, no. I was just gonna say that's rough.
And as far as transfer news, we only have a couple. It's official. Your boy got signed. I'll let you announce that.
Yeah, Dean Huijsen has officially signed for Real Madrid. The best young center back in Europe has joined Real Madrid. It's great. It's knowing, he wanted to come to the club because Premier League teams were offering him ridiculous money that just doesn't make sense in current state of football. But,
Mhm.
he decided to join Real Madrid instead.
As far as rumors, it's Reiners is getting their AC Milan and Man City are in talks for Reiners. They initiated talks. Pong has officially signed for Liverpool.
Rather cheap, I'd say, because it's only 40 million. That's crazy for a player of his quality, especially a position of right back where there's not that many good ones in current
And,
day.
and like you said it yesterday too, when we were talking that you thought that what was his name, Bradley was going
Connor
to start
Bradley.
at right back, but now it looks like there's competition.
Yeah, because they gave him a new bumper deal, expecting him. I was expecting him to be the new starting right back for next year because he's shown signs that he's a two-way right back. He defends and he can go forward. And I thought, oh, next year it's gonna finally can be his season. He's gonna explode. He's gonna be in charge of the main starting duties at right back. But with Frimpong coming in and for like a bigger money move, I expect him to take over. And I guess Connor Bradley's gonna be deputizing again, which. I feel like in a year or two, we might be talking about him potentially moving to another club looking for more opportunity because I thought this was his spot.
Yeah, definitely. It sucks to see because I'm a huge fan of him too. As far as other rumors, I know there's a slight murmur of Pep potentially joining AC Milan.
Yeah, I don't know if that would make sense for him with the project currently at AC Milan because we've seen it just fall off a cliff from
Hmm.
times because they look sometimes like, oh, it's running, they're finally, back in sale, but then they fired Maldini and then everything came crashing down again. So who knows if you want to go to a volatile state of a club like that.
Yeah, never a good look. And anything else?
I feel like we said something, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. Sui Mendy, but we announced it last week already. Um,
I feel like I can't remember anything else.
for sure. Any any other topics?
Uh, no.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been the Play On podcast. Peace.
Peace.